Hello and welcome
Welcome
to
to
the
the Royal
Royal Takeover.
Takeover.
I am KT Brown, author of Path of the Lion, Rising Kingdom, Part 1, The Birthright.
And I am Desiree Brown, and my husband wrote Path of the Lion, Rising Kingdom.
So usually we do the Facebook Live thing, well, me and my wife, but this is a special literary edition of the Royal Takeover on Substack and also YouTube.
We like to present Lion's Footprint, presenting Path of the Lion, Rising Kingdom, while sipping a glass of wine.
Indeed.
And, and with the best part, reading or talking about his book. So we are going to discuss Path of Lion, Rising Kingdom. Let's see how this one worked out while we sip it.
Take a little sip.
Okay. So the first question that I want to know: when you were writing this Path of the Lions, Rising Kingdom, what was your idea for writing this novel?
Hmm. Yeah, it takes I'm gonna say the idea just goes way back. I want to say around second grade, because my original character was Peter Tucker.
Hmm.
I actually had a dream of this character. He was a white character.
Hmm.
I had a dream of him when I was little because I used to watch my dad play Street Fighter all the time on the Sega Genesis.
Hmm.
So, and at the time I was looking at Dragon Ball Z. So so I had a dream of this white boy with the red cap, and behind him was a wasteland with thunder and a scary looking mansion. So immediately I called him Peter Tucker,
Hmm.
and I started to create this character based on the character Ryu off of Street Fighter, because he
Hmm.
had Ryu and Ken. They were not blood brothers, but they were clan brothers. So I wanted to create a Ryu and Ken type character.
Hmm.
Now, fast forward years later, I ended up self-publishing Peter Tucker.
Hmm.
Um, this was around 2011. Then I republished in 2016 when I was in college. Making a long story short, and so this was around the time. This is like the third year me and you was dating.
Hmm.
And I remember at the time you were saying, you and your sister, rest in peace to Shalonda, but you and her was saying that I should create a black character.
Hmm.
And what inspired me to create the Moses character, I was actually going to replace Moses with Peter, because I ended up looking at what was that movie called, The Prince of Egypt, the concept of Moses and Ramses, the two brothers who were both in a place of power, and they were like competitors, rivals. You had Moses, who was the liberator, and then Ramses, who was Pharaoh. Well, according to that story. According to that movie. Um, so that gave me the idea of creating the two brothers, Moses and Ramses. And then that's when I went ahead and started getting more interested because I started to have more of a black conscious. I started to think of more African mythology. I started to get more into the Igbo culture, especially once I was in the MFA program at Converse College, now Converse University. And there I was introduced to Afrofuturism. Um, so with the story, I ended up working with Jeff Herbach, and he was the one that helped me pretty much utilize and up and provide the story with a more uptick. So so there I ended up studying the Igbo culture of Nigeria, and I just ended up and that's how I came up with the story.
Okay, so I remember my sister did give you an idea of why isn't it enough brown characters.
Hmm.
She passed away in 2019, and now that I am starting to see more brown characters, especially on YouTube,
Hmm.
Marvel introducing brown characters, seeing like brown characters, cartoon more brown cartoons is brown characters, and everything is coming out now than how it used to be.
Hmm.
Um, Me per se was having issues with trying to figure out who I was as a person
Hmm.
because people was trying. It's still till this day trying to figure out who am I. If I'm from the Bahamas, if I'm from Nigeria, or who am I as a person. You know, um, I did help find the illustrator. It was hard to find a good
Oh yeah.
illustrator
Yep. It
to
was.
try to present this story idea. Um, to present the story, how I ended up finding the illustrator is I saw him creating a samurai into a brown character. So I introduced myself, and the character has Moses has been created, but before it was a Moses character, it was a Peter character, and the
Hmm.
person that created Peter was an artist by the name of Eric Kuzak.
Yeah, he was the original artist for. He was the original artist. Although I had a pastor's son, Chris. He did the original sketch of Peter Tucker. Of course, that sketch was rushed. But when the character was upgraded, it was Eric Kuzak who drew that upgrade of that character.
Correct. So I drew the character because it was a story that needed to be heard.
Hmm.
I feel like everybody has a story that needs to be heard. So we are presenting Path of the Lions, Rising Kingdom. Not everybody's going to accept the character at all. We don't know why. When the story first came out, some people noticed it, and some people wasn't feeling it. It's not like we know these, people personally. But what we are talking about is if you have a novel or a book or anything of that, it's time to get your story out. Don't let it sit
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Um, it's because if you allow it to sit there, people don't know. People won't know. People
Yeah.
don't know.
People's not going to know at all.
You know,
Yeah, and it's really hard for self-published authors because you have to be the one that takes control of the market. You don't have nobody to do the marketing for you. You have to actually find your way to get past that glass ceiling. And when it comes to publishing, you have what you call the gatekeepers, the publishers. It's through them that determine if your work will succeed or not, even if you are self published. It's the gatekeepers who are the ones that will, yes, the gatekeepers who are the ones that will determine if your story is good enough for the public or if it just should just be underground. If you get my drift, but,
and you have
but
to remember,
unfortunately, that's how it is.
don't give up.
Of course not.
Literacy world is not easy. It's not easy to market a book. It's not easy to present. But if that door opens for you, that is really great. But don't let your book and everything sits on the back burner.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the worst thing. That's the worst outcome is to have your book just sitting on the shelf with collecting dust.
each story has a character. Each story has a character. Your story has a character. So present that character as if it is your character. You don't care what type of writing you do, whether it's a comic and play writing, stage play. You present a character and give us that character, so people would feel the story of what you're trying to present in your story, because people need to hear it. Create platforms. You can create a book signing, but all this stuff is a lot, you know, because we do have little children. So we have to take other routes. Some people is not going to accept your work, and it's okay that they don't.
Yeah, art is a reflection of reality. So everybody, and art is diverse. Everyone's gonna pick and choose what they like. That's just how it is.
And like Dave Chappelle says, and I like what he said because everybody was upset with him. Everybody should be able to express themselves in a way that you are free to express yourself. When it coming down to arts, the arts, whether it's painting,
Hmm.
rather it's your novel is your baby. You got to treat your gift and your work and everything like it's your baby. Um, Rather you're dancing, rather you singing. Um, Rather is cooking or designing your clothing. It is your product, it's your baby. Nobody can take care of your baby like you take care of your baby. And don't give your stuff and your gift and your talent and your secrets to everybody, because people will steal it
Hmm.
or change it and make it their work and not your own. But you have your gift in your work. We just need you to present it. Because if your voice is, it's like keeping your voice in a box. Who knows what you're saying if your voice is not is heard. So let's present Path of the Lions, the birthright. Um, it is a book winning novel,
Yep.
Path of the Lions. I like the whole. If y'all really look after this character, I gave y'all my people. To be honest with you, this character is based on my people and my culture. So I presented to him. My sister gave him my idea, so I presented to him my culture. It is so hard for y'all to see what the character is. A brown character with powers. We also got a white character. We got uh not just white. We got, you know, red character. We got a monster, a villain. To be honest, we got fighting characters. We also he also got other writings besides this novel. So writing is his gift. I myself like dancing, and I love. We both love music. That's the
Hmm.
only thing we got in common when it coming down to music.
Yeah, pretty much.
Great. Um, I feel like the arts is the most beautiful thing. Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's the evening. The sun is setting, so the sun is glaring.
I feel like the arts is the most beautiful thing. Somebody keeps sketching, has sketched a picture of myself. So I think that it is beautiful to see the art or somebody's picture or somebody's painting in a way that um, some nobody else can see it. Um, And that's a gift. Like art is starting to be real. Like you think that somebody painting and you think you walking in a tunnel. And reality is not a tunnel, it's a painting. And I think that's really good. Like everything has become real. Like the
Hmm.
painting is real. Chalk work is really nice work. So today we are presenting not just the novel.
Yeah, it's a little blurry because of the sun.
Let's try to dim that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Give me one moment.
Hold on. It's going through there, so we gotta switch.
Yeah, you're gonna have to switch seats because the sun is glaring over here.
We gonna put it this way.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody to see my kitchen.
I had to turn the TV off. Yeah, I couldn't do nothing with that sun glare. That thing glaring.
It's still glaring.
Yeah, it was glaring completely.
Hold on. It's still glaring.
Yeah, but we got a better angle though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because from there it's just completely glaring. You can't see nothing.
That,
Like God, dog, you can't even see the book. All right,
okay.
give me my wine so I can get another sippy sip.
Okay. So it's not just
Ah,
a
that's much better.
yeah, it's not just the novel itself, but it's the characters. I like how they has their little royal garment going on, and they have the evil villain. We presented you with Shadow Lord. We presented you with Moses. We presented you with powers, just like any other character in the story. The whole title. I'm gonna give you the book so he can present more the cover and his ideas of it. So we just need you. I did have to finish the idea of the meaning of the birthright and present your title and the rising kingdom and why did you choose the title and everything else.
All right, so the reason why.
You know,
Oh,
why did
go
you
ahead, babe.
choose the characters to have the whole idea? Like, what was the whole idea when you designed and titled the book?
All right, so the main reason why I chose the title the way I chose it, I thought of the Lion of Judah, and how the lion, pretty much how the lion would rise and would liberate. Now, the whole concept of so that's basically the concept of the rising kingdom is basically a kingdom that is rising from the evil. Now, um, I title it the birthright because although you have the villain who has taken over the kingdom, the character has to battle his brother for the birthright before he can get to the villain. And if in reading the story, the character Moses, he is he ends up growing up, grows older with this feeling of doubt, the
Mm,
feeling of pain, doubt, um, not not wanting. Like he just feels that his brother is the one that deserves the birthright since he's the firstborn and he's older, he's stronger. But Moses won't do. Moses doesn't realize is his destiny is greater than the concept of what he's thinking.
Hmm.
So that's why Moses has the spiritual guide, which is Ngazi, who actually helps him explore this destiny of becoming this great, not just a great warrior, but not just a great warrior, but a great what I can call spiritual warrior. Like he can like he's like Moses is destined for such greatness that he can connect to both the spiritual and physical realms. That's just the destiny that Moses doesn't realize. Now, I will say the concept of the artwork. I originally didn't have my idea of the cover like this. When I gave Namdi, who is the artist, the description of the cover, I actually wanted just the city, just Moses and the city behind him.
Hmm.
I didn't expect for him to draw the Shadow Lord because he actually drew a figure and behind him because the original concept of the artwork, the villain had like an eye patch. So I asked Namdi, who's that you drawing in the background? And he said the Shadow Lord. I was like, oh man, I didn't know he was gonna draw the Shadow Lord on the cover. So I went ahead and real quick gave him the original description of the Shadow Lord, whose name is Merceus, because he's like because Merceus is like Mercury, the god Mercury.
Hmm.
Um, I gave him the image of the god who have a white robe or white toga with spiky red hair,
Hmm.
and this is the concept that it came with. He still had the orange hair, but he added the goatee and the streaks with the garment and the crown, and it surprised me when he did that. And
Okay.
then he had this. Then you have it's a little blurry, but you have the chieftain spear here, which gave me a last minute concept or an idea to add to the novel, which was the chieftain spear.
Hmm.
So I pretty much added this last minute in the novel, as well as the image of Amaryllis, because Amaryllis was originally a white goddess. But because of this image here, I was like, I need to make Amaryllis the same image as Merceus here, which is the fallen god, one of the fallen gods, and the original image of the fallen gods through the Egyptians. um, which I added the image of Isis instead of the image of Aphrodite. Because Aphrodite was the Greek goddess, Isis is the Egyptian goddess. So I replaced the Aphrodite image with Isis
Hmm.
based on the image that you see here. But anything you was gonna ask me, anything else you was gonna add on?
Okay, so you said this character has a lot of doubt
Mm-hmm.
because he's the oldest. Have anything in
No,
you?
he's the youngest.
He's the youngest.
Yes,
Well, Moses the youngest, and
Moses the youngest. Ramses the oldest.
reason why I get the story mixed up because you got Peter Tucker and his brother
Jason.
Jason.
Hmm.
So Peter's the oldest and Jason's
No,
the
Peter's the youngest and Jason's the oldest. Jason's older than Peter by a year.
okay. So
Ramses is older than Moses by 3 years.
just making sure that we
Yep.
got it all together and try to put everything together for people can get this idea or people who is into the literacy world and maybe want to get together and read each other's stories. It don't have to be I guess the main idea. Well, I'm not too acceptance or denying that person's story. Um, because they don't like the idea of it because I don't know we still have to get this idea of what the story is about. Okay. I see a lot of people have been writing. their novels and their books lately. I like writing groups and reading groups and hearing people's stories, like, because it's like you wrote that, saying you're hearing it for the first time and you're reading it from the first time, and now you engaging when you have that conversation. Hey, did you read my book? And you're hearing people, it make you feel good to see and hear people have bought your novel, and now you have to write another novel or give you that motivation to write again, then encouraged to write again. Um, what when you say the town, what kind of give the people the idea of what the name of the city that Moses and Ramses, because I believe you say Moses is the youngest and Ramses is the oldest. They
Hmm.
give the idea of the city that you created. Is it a fantasy or is it a great? Is it a sci-fi? Is it they flying or they riding? What ideas do you have with as far as the setting in the story? Because this is a what fan fiction, right?
No, fantasy.
Fantasy.
Well, you can say speculative because speculative is multiple genres. So it's a combination between fantasy and sci-fi.
Fantasy and sci-fi. So,
Mhm.
what is the idea of a fantasy and a sci-fi world, or what is it? Is it Is it real? Are you giving them a reality, or you're not giving them a reality?
Um, so I'm gonna say that it's a combination of reality and non-reality. It's just blurred lines. See, I'm providing the reality through, I'm providing the reality through our social climate.
Hmm.
Um, Social climate for years,
Hmm.
when it came to the blurred lines of racism, colonization, um, how pretty much the marginalization, and also I'm giving providing the fantasy because here you have um, what is not a utopia, but a land where people haven't been where the people haven't been enslaved and pretty much scattered through through a diaspora. Um, Here you have um, the concept of pretty much a sci-fi fantasy world. It's sci-fi through the city itself because when I originally planned the city, I had it I had it to a pretty much a sci-fi futuristic type city, with pretty much the tall towers. I think about the city of Mombasa on Halo. On pretty much on Halo, you had that futuristic city in Africa. Um, and it was like I'm trying to describe it. It was just those towers, and then you had the streets, but it was all that futuristic build. Um, and then you have the fantasy world because this takes place in the alternate Earth. That's why I labeled it as Shaveria because Shaveria was actually an idea that scientists put in place to imagine a world that was opposite to the world that pretty much a remapping or reshaping of how the world would have became after the continents were broken up. So this is pretty much an alternate Earth that I've created in a more futuristic type setting. So you just have all these concepts of just that marginalization, that pain, um, that I would say me and your forefathers went through, and it's just all bundled in this one book. especially when I wrote in the back cover, we were once royalty, now we are lower than servants, caged as animals and forever silenced. Especially if you even look at history, in the U.S. Constitution, our ancestors were deemed as a third human. We were deemed as subhuman, so like we were treated worse than animals, basically. So I went ahead and just added this concept to the novel, providing the reality of what the descendants of, um, the descendants of, I would say, blacks had to go through.
Okay, so when you begin to, what do you say to writers? Because I remember you saying some writers, when they write, when they write, they get, as soon as they write something, they get the most writers, not all. The ones that's writing, some of them are getting like rejections,
Hmm.
or I don't like your work, and this is they get what, this is garbage, and writers who is writing, but they don't, the work not just getting this accepted, but the person itself, like to the point where their books are getting banned. Their work is getting banned because the work itself might not be real. The person can be a, like you said, sci-fi fiction.
Hmm.
um what can you say to those who getting like work hated? They being hated for the work, but the work is not being understood far as writing goes.
Mm.
They are
Yeah.
free writers, like they are revolutionary writers, I call them. Most of them not for revolution, but they're just expressing everything. Like everything is in their writing, how they feel,
Hmm.
the emotions and everything. But as soon as the work come out, it's like, well, I understand what you're coming from, okay. But some of them, like, I don't want to read this. I don't want you to have to read it.
Right.
What do you say to the person who is writing? You know,
Yeah, it's just like what Dr. Chick Smith told us one time. I was involved in what was called a griot society.
Mhm.
So one thing that resonated that she told us that time, she told us, do not be fearful or do not be afraid of getting censored. You got to express your truth regardless. You got to express your thoughts. You have to, you just have to have that form of self-expression of what's on your mind, what's in your thoughts. Don't be afraid to speak it. There's been a lot of authors that was in the ban whose books were banned in North America. That's common in literature. Some authors whose work gets published,
Mhm.
their books, you can get access to their book unless you buy it from Canada. That's just how bad it is. Um, Me and you talked about. I think I told you the other night. Toni Morrison is one example. Rest her soul. But her novel, The Bluest Eye, I actually read that in my first year in my MFA, well, my first semester in my MFA, and it's pretty graphic. I mean, but she's speaking her truth, and can't blame her because art is a form of reality, and the books that are banned, those are just like I said. You have those gatekeepers. They just look at the book as something that cannot be tolerated according to their standard. So that's just how they perceive that, according to their standard of how American literature should be notarized as. So it's just those gatekeepers that say, okay, this book here is just speaking too much. People don't need to read this. We're going to go ahead and ban it. So, but that's just the reality. But I would say for those who have those undesirable books. Just I mean, as long as you're, let's say, in my boat and your book is invisible, is better for your novel to be invisible than it to be banned. And I say that because once it's banned, there's nothing you can do about it. But if your book is invisible, you still have a chance to increase that visibility once you're able to find that network.
So you're telling me somebody whose book is banned, they can't promote it again? They just
Yeah, they won't be able to promote it in the country. I mean, they can well, I can't say they can promote it because it's already banned.
hmm,
Yeah, it's banned. So the only possible way they can promote it is to promote it in another country. That's the only way. But they can't promote it in America once it's banned here. Now,
that sounds
for
sad.
for those who now, I remember Bob. His name is Robert Olmsted, but we called him Bob. He was another mentor of mine at Converse next to Jeff, and he was real great. Haven't seen or spoken to him in a long time, but um, one thing I can say that he helped out, that he said one advice he gave us for banned books, just in case it would happen to any of us, but he was saying we could get backup through authors press, I think, through AP, because AP help with authors whose books are banned. So that would just be a segue for those who have banned books. Go to sites like go to people like AP Authors Press. I can't think of any other sites. Any company similar to those can pretty much help advocate for your book,
I
just in case that would happen.
I would have thought people who begin to write their feelings, they 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 can be writing. You know, what I'm saying
Yeah.
they writing, you reading what they was feeling. You know, especially when you know a bad secret, like you keep it a secret for a long time, so you can't
Hmm.
go and tell it. So you write everything down in the book. You know, you're just expressing it in codes and everything else because you know something, but you can't keep it in. I feel like
Hmm.
it's just a harsh reality of somebody who have a passion for writing. Uh, is kind of sad. So I did see that you have their world called not Beria,
Nubaria.
Nubaria, correct. There you go. Nubaria. I see you have him as an 11-year old,
Hmm.
and you know they were royal and they're not royal. What is a cosmos, or who is a cosmos?
So the cosmos is the same. Think of the cosmos as the heavens.
Hmm.
It's basically 12 realms within the cosmos.
Hmm.
The 12th realm is the highest realm. Just think of the 12th realm as the paradise where the supreme God reigns. And he also reigns within the other realms too. Even though the Shadow Lords have, I'm going to say, 11 of those realms.
Hmm.
And due to the deal that they had in the beginning of time, and you could read that in the prologue. But the Supreme and the Shadow Lords made a deal that if they're able to turn humanity against them, they can have the 11 realms and rule over the ones that turned away. And so you have the 12 realms of the cosmos, the third realm being where Shaveria is. And then each realm has a world. And each of those worlds, the Shadow Lords rule in. Um, so that's basically what the cosmos is. It's basically 12 realms, and the Shadow Lords are able to travel through each realm. The only realm they can't touch is the 12th realm. which is pretty much locked by angels.
Okay, so what can you tell someone who is going to the publishing tradition and a person and who are is self-published?
So for those who are traditionally published, I would say go for it. It's a rigorous process though, because you have to write a query letter, um, and you don't know if the publisher will accept your work or reject it. And I would give the same advice that a lot of authors would give. If you're going the traditional route, write query letters for multiple publishers. Don't just stick with one. Write query letters from multiple publishers. And of course, even if your work does get accepted, it's going to take like months on end for the progress of getting the work published, marketed, all of that.
I remember.
Now, when you get to the self-publishing route, you're the one that's in control. Now, the traditional publishing, once you sign the contract, the work is no longer yours. They have full control. They have full control of your work. Compared to self-publishing, you're in control. However, you have to come up with a marketing strategy or hire somebody. So that's just the difference. Then between that, you have the vanity publisher who is like that middleman that'll and I wouldn't waste my time with those vanity publishers because all they want is for you to spend thousands of dollars on not only on designing the cover, then after the cover, they want more money to get your work distributed one place to the next, and they want more money to promote. Each move that you make, you have to spend countless of dollars. So I definitely wouldn't go with the middleman. You'll be spending thousands, and it's not worth it.
Another thing that I begin to see, and I wish people or pray for like that people would talk about it more. Rejection. I see him. Rejection is the hardest thing writers got to go through. It's like a
Yes.
rejection letters, and those rejection letters is not like very friendly. They don't hit it in a harsh way. It's a horrible letter. Like you don't know what this person go through or how the time that they write. They just writing. Oh, this work is not right. This is despicable. Like you tear it up, and then you writing to people in a harsh way. If you want to give somebody feedback, let it be in a gentle way sometimes.
Yeah, and you wish that would happen, but a lot of these publishers, the only thing they're seeing is green. They don't care about your emotions. They don't care about what you went through. They're just seeing if this book will sell or not. If it ain't gonna sell, throw it in the trash. Move on to the next person. Write them a letter telling them good luck. That's it.
Right. Like
Yeah,
they
that's all
don't
they're
say
seeing is money.
they don't say, hey, um, good work that you did write this novel. Um, at this moment, at this time, we cannot not accept your work or put at this time we can't move forward with you at this time. Maybe further notice or we'll see where this gonna go later down the line. But we pray or we hope you all the best. That's it. But them
Mhm.
letters, all the stuff do not come in a sense of gentleness or nice, and then that we are sitting here seeing our friends or families going through sadness because they're taking the time out writing a novel is not a one day. It's not a paragraph. It's a novel. It's a book. Um, Regardless, if you write, I would sit your book on top of my countertop, and I would, be proud. It's a proud moment. Another thing I did have here is y'all have timelines. Like you rushing their work too. And now they're under pressure because now they got to get
Hmm.
everything done in a certain amount of time. And they sacrificing their time to try to get the work done. And then you turn around and said, this ain't God, this is not good enough. And you piling up pressure for this person because you'd be like, this ain't good enough. I think you need to take this out. You need to add this
Hmm.
on, put this in, put this out, take this out, put this in.
Again, they control your work.
And
The work is theirs.
I feel so I feel so sorry for them because me personally, I just want to know that person. Like, let me get the chance to know this person. You're not allowing me to know that person first and foremost. Let me see who they are as a person first. Like, or let me know who he is or she is. Like, why they wrote this novel before you take out and add on, give the person a little grace. It's called grace. And now they becoming a monster because you created this monster because you now they getting into my work and this ain't good enough and they balling it up and then you throwing the work in the trash. You're not giving their work a chance. It's their work before it's your work. To be honest, it's their work.
Hmm.
It's their gift, God given gift. They're presenting the work to you first. It's called grace. Give them grace. Like, have mercy on me, upon me. Like, I'm thankful for Jeff Hallback because, my husband was just upset and, I had to go and get an opinion of somebody who have experienced rejection. And I'm thankful. He was like, hey, I got way worse, so like a bunch of rejection before I got accepted. Somebody noticed me. Somebody noticed my work. Somebody would notice you, regardless if they don't. You know, somebody would notice your work. Trust me. Somebody admire your work. It's your work. Trust me, I accept anything and anybody and love, them or try to love them because like I said, being accepted is not normal. Not being accepted is normal to me. You're saying when you're not accepted, it's not normal. Like, I already accept that the fact that you can't get accepted, imagine your work can't get accepted, so it's normal to us if the work is not being accepted.
Hmm. Yeah, it does become a norm eventually. Yeah, because a lot of my work, especially short stories, were rejected. My novels I self-published, but short stories I tried to get published, but all came rejected,
Oh,
including including the short story I recently published on on Substack, titled "The Fallen One." I actually presented that as an entry for Fire magazine, but Fire ended up rejecting it because they love the folklore and the telling with the African mythology of Iquinsu and Chukwu, who are the progenitors of the events that's going to happen in the novel. But they said that it lacked depth. I think it was something like that. It lacked depth or something.
so
But that's but authors go through that all the time.
see, this is why I can't be a writer. I can't be a writer. Is I feel so sorry. But like I said, like, I understand that you go to the publishing, but don't let them take, if you go in that route, to me, if you go to that route, please don't let them take everything of you because I gotta know who you are too. Your
Hmm.
work is beautiful. You are beautiful. You're giving me per se, beauty. You are reaching out to someone like me. How can you reach to me and you taking yourself out? You cannot even connect it to me at this
Yeah,
point.
because the only person you connect with in traditional publishing, once you're accepted, is the agent. The agent is the one that talks to the editors, the editors, artists, marketer, all of that. The agent does all that for you.
All the thing I want to know and the understanding that I want to know with traditional publishing and self-publishing is if you do go to publishing, am I'm getting you or I'm getting that the agents that's presenting your book, because I don't know if I'm getting two people or I'm getting one person. Like, is it one person that I'm reading and everything? Is somebody writing your book or are you writing it for you? Now we got digital where you can go AI and everything is just uh, formatted for you. Or when you self publish, you know, when you self publish, hopefully it is going to be hard to give us, well, it's not hard to give the picture because you are there, you are the person that presenting your story and giving me your story, which is going to be beautiful because you give me the whole idea of what you are, what your work and your product is. So that being said, I think I'm gonna call it a day because I'm going to rest. Is there anything that you'd like to say before?
Um, the only thing I will add on to is well, the only thing I got left to say is just go ahead on my Substack and check out my content. I'm gonna eventually add paid subscription um, for my full novel and other content. Um, but that'll be for paid subscribers. You can always subscribe, follow me on my Substack, and just check me out. Also, um, purchase my novel if you haven't. Of course, I'm not gonna come at you as a salesman and say, "Hey, buy my novel." Nah, it's all about promo, and it's just all about introducing and networking and pretty much connecting. That's what this is all about. But I promise you, if you do go and purchase the novel, it is available on Amazon. You can search on Google, Path of the Lion, Rising Kingdom, Part 1, The Birthright. Again, I will promote more content on Substack in relation to the relaunch and pretty much getting more notoriety of Part 1, The Birthright, before Part 2, The Throne, comes out. I will also have content based on Part 2 as well. So just stay tuned. All right.